I'm Tyler Riley, your local real estate agent. And in this series, we are going to be bringing you some inspiring stories of local leaders. Today, we're going to have an opportunity to talk to Rusty Garcia. He is the director of Russellville's Youth Baseball Association, and I am incredibly impressed that he took the time to meet with us today. His baseball knowledge, his life experience, not only how to be better ball players, but how to be better ball player parents. Rusty, so I can remember distinctly the first time that I ever actually walked into one of your practices. It was when my son was going for 7U nukes. And when we walked in, from what we knew about baseball to how you organized the practice, I felt like we were walking into the major leagues. It was incredible. Stations were set up, kids were running drills, and man, seeing somebody with that type of level that can put it in that age bracket of baseball. How did you even get started with baseball, man?
Man, well, baseball and softball it was really started off with softball and that. Where my niece, who now plays at Texas Tech, she just wanted extra reps at a young age when she was 4 or 5 years old. And so I was there and pretty much started helping with that. And of course, Bella, my daughter, she ended up wanting to play. And from there, it was a done deal. I just took on being a coach. I was voluntold to be a coach. I didn't volunteer. I was working in the oil field as a sales rep. So that was tough. But then I was just pretty much voluntold that, hey, you're going to do this. And so from that point on, it was over. I became a coach. I fell in love with it, passion of it, and I just continued on. And so.
And it's kept growing. I mean, right now, people may not realize it as I'm sitting here talking with you today, but you're the director of the entire Youth Baseball Association of Russellville. And how did you find yourself going into that role for being voluntold you were going to be part of the coaching staff?
Well, man, Hayden Arnold. I mean, he's a great guy. He inspired me to, and convinced me to take on that role. He's passionate about getting kids better, and so am I.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things where his personality fit with my personality, and we just like, hey, we want to do this. Let's make Russellville better. Let's make the youth baseball better. And so that's where it really is just like, all right, I'm in.
And it's even been more than that. You talk about what baseball was when I grew up and was a kid, but our kids in Russellville, if they're part of baseball, they're playing on turf fields.
Yes.
They have nice sunshades. The dugouts are in great condition. We've got equipment, pitching mounds, pitching machines. Having baseball go from what it was before you started to where it is now, that was just an incredible.
2 years, it has changed a lot. It has been phenomenal with the board that we have, the group of guys that are invested in that. It's a really great thing, to have that many guys invested in the youth right now.
Yeah.
For youth baseball.
And I know softball was kind of what got your start, and now with baseball is where you have an opportunity to spend some time as well. What are some of the differences you notice between those two outfits?
Man, softball tends to be faster.
Yeah.
Faster paced game. Each sport it has their challenges, but they're so incredibly similar to each other. The girls tend to be more focused and boys do at a younger age. So making adjustments to help them keep them engaged, is a big must, And so it's definitely been challenging, but girls are more focused, boys more hyper.
That's it.
Yeah. I guess there's only one way I can put it is they're hyper and they're, they get it. The boys get it, but they just, hey, I'm going to do it my way sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a little conversation about that. Little dudes acting like they're major leaguers trying to dive and backhand the ball. That is
basic fundamentals, man. Basic fundamentals.
The really unique thing about that is you almost have a pyramid of baseball, So coach of a Nukes team, RYBA director, you have Coach Rusty's dugout where we focus on defensive skills.
Tennessee team too.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And I cannot wait to dive in and talk a little bit about what you're doing with Bella's
Oh
team
man.
on that national level, right? So for Coach Rusty's dugout, man, how in the world did you come up with this billion-dollar brainchild to bring such a high level defensive skills drills company to Russellville?
Well, man, that's been basically, through the years of training with guys like Tony Medina, Scott Knight, Eric Leo, guys in this local area and guys from
Yeah.
Texas. It's just seeing them with their methods, how they coach and train. I just kind of, pieced it together and hey, I want to do this. I want to do it this way. And try to create my own brand on that. And it's growing, but it's just a slow process that's growing because, like I said, the youth here, I want to see them take into it themselves and not the
Yeah.
parents force them into it, you know. And so,
That's right. Kind of the classic thing, like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink kind of
bingo,
stuff.
bingo.
So your mission is to find the kids who want to be more engaged in baseball
Hmm.
and then give them the opportunity with the defensive skills that you run to get all the knowledge that they, typically wouldn't see until they're, junior high or high school level
Pretty
with the
much, yeah.
fundamentals that you teach.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal is one of, help them make their high school team.
Yeah.
If that's a goal for them, I want to help them achieve that. If they want to play at the collegiate level, I definitely want to help them achieve that. And so it's just part of the process.
Yeah. So your daughter, I told the world that we are going to get to it because it is such an incredible thing that I don't know the average person would understand having a daughter who plays on a national level softball team. Tell us a little bit about that and what that means.
Man, playing on a national level softball team is extremely incredible and a great experience to watch some of the competition out there in other states, from Florida to California.
Yeah.
And that's where we were this past summer,
Yeah.
in 2 months, from May 31st to the end of July 31st. We were from Florida to California, Atlanta, Tennessee. It's just been amazing to watch her grow and become the athlete she has. But again, it started back in Texas where training her, training the defensive stuff, the defensive things that I see her grow as. Like, that's what really got me going. It's like, defense wins championships.
That's right.
Defense wins championships. So just watching her flourish through that, it was just like, I got to continue doing this with not just my kid, but with the other kids. I want them to have the same training, same opportunities.
And it's funny not to, keep going on Bella's abilities, but I remember at one of the nukes practices, Bella is engaged in our nukes practices as well. And
Yeah.
I remember one time, a couple minutes before, you were pitching to Bella and you were telling Bella, right field, left field, go down the line. And she was able to control the ball where she was hitting.
Yep.
How do you teach that?
I don't know. It's just ball placement, timing,
Yeah.
wise when the ball comes across the plate, where the ball is placed. It could be placed on the outside of that plate. I want you to hit an opposite ball, opposite way.
Yeah.
So you go down right. If it's in the middle, I want you to hit it up the middle. If it's inside, I want you to pull it and take it to left field. And so, it's as a coach, trying to pitch to that, kid is it's like I've done it for so long for the 15 years. I think I've gotten a pretty good knack for placing a ball across the
Yeah.
plate. And so, like, I'll say, hey, I need these first 10 to the right field. If you don't get 10, we're going to keep going until you do.
That's right.
And so left field, right field, center field, just hit the ball where I tell you to go.
Kind of that practice of fundamentals until they see it so many times, it becomes so natural
Reps.
to them.
So many reps.
Yeah. Rusty, I don't think you sleep because managing a nukes team, running RYBA, Coach Rusty's dugouts, and being a part of the Thunderbolts with Bella's team. And how do you balance all of these external roles and be a father, a husband? How do you balance everything?
It was not an easy one for sure. You know, um, take on the role of coaching like we do everything else, I guess. As a family, we line up our schedule. The kids' events, we communicate about, our game plan frequently. And it's definitely challenging. It's pretty much doing backwards math all the time. We got to figure out where to go, how to be here. Living outside of the city of Russellville, it also makes it a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
Trying to get from point A to point B sometimes, but it's all worth it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for anything.
And y'all go on these trips as families, right?
Yeah,
Like,
so we make them, a family, mini vacation type of thing.
Yeah. Especially when you at like 6 o'clock, you're like 6 p.m. at night. You'll be like, hey, we've got to be in Tennessee by this time because we have this going on tomorrow
Yeah.
morning. And then back in, Cersei for a tournament that starts at 9 a.m. on
Yep.
Sunday.
That's pretty much what it is. It's traveling the country. I mean, it's true travel. I guess you want to say you got travel ball and you got real travel ball. There's different levels of it. It's all your cup of tea. You know how you like it. It's all how serious and dedicated you are to it because the level you want to play at, that's where you go. Seriousness of it.
Which is probably works really into the things that you're doing with Coach Rusty's dugout and the focus that you've created with defensive skills and drills class. What do you see next for Coach Rusty's dugout?
And have more clinics, more slots available for lessons type of stuff. I'll be traveling a couple, times out of the country, but out of the state. Like September 28th, I'll be going to Tennessee to run a clinic with one of my good friends from California, Tony Medina,
Yeah.
who is just a phenomenal softball guru. He's gonna, run some things and teach me some things so I can bring back here to the Russellville area for baseball and softball. And so, but for here, locally, I plan on, continuing doing that, teaching the game,
Yeah.
teaching the, fundamentals of it at a fast paced level instead of just, get out there and hit balls to somebody all day long. I just want to be able to give the kids that opportunity to play a game they love and make it fun for them, exciting for them.
All right, I got to ask you, and just so the world knows what I have personally called you and asked you questions for in the past, if my kid has acted an idiot out there on the field and you feel the parental visions get you all red and you want to go yank them into the bathroom to talk to them one-on-one about what they're doing, and you call me down, what advice do you want parents of baseball kids to know?
Trust the process. I mean, you hear it all the time. You hear it all the time. Trust the process. It's a never ending process, and it doesn't happen overnight. So in order to get that done, you got to let your kids struggle. Let them learn the game. It teaches so many different life lessons. Within that game. It's not just about baseball. It can click an aha moment at some point where that kid's just like, oh, yeah, I get it now. And I've actually seen that happen sometimes with your son. And then he goes back to it and like, I got it now, coach. I got it now, coach. And it's just, yeah. And so it is an exciting moment when I see that. And so, but for the parents, just trust that process. Be patient. The seeds don't sprout overnight.
Love that.
And so it's all the little things that make a big difference. So I always tell our boys, said we sweat the small stuff so that bigger things are possible for your future.
Looking ahead, you have such a vision for baseball, but where do you see kind of the long-term goals for coaching, your involvement in sports? What's kind of that path look like down the road?
Man, while I would love to coach at that national level, both sides of the game, to be a paid coach. I mean, right now everything's volunteer, pretty much.
And it's like a full volunteership.
It's a full volunteer time job.
Yes.
It's a full-time job, pretty much.
It is.
Trying to direct kids here and there, get their passion for the game. Also trying to help other Nukes teams or our YBA teams, like for our league teams come, do that kind of stuff. And it's just nothing would compare to the athletes I've worked with that when they come back to me as an adult and say, hey, Thank you for everything you've done. You know, you taught me so much in life. You know, and that's happened a couple times already with some collegiate students. There's a couple kids here at ATU that play softball that I probably coached when they were started off about Colt's age, 9, 10 years old. You know, just three of them I can name right now over at ATU, Ella Thornton, Savannah Snow, that I got to, you know, mentor and coach a little bit with Scott Knight. You know, and it's to see that happening. They're becoming teachers, you know, pretty soon at the, you know, graduate and they'll become a teacher. And so they get to share some of that stuff that maybe we shared with them through softball. That's, like I said, it's not about softball or baseball, but it's about the life lessons that we teach.
And if there's anybody jumping on that wants to learn more about baseball, how can they connect with you to learn more about, gosh, your lifestyle and a lifetime commitment as a coach?
Coach Rusty's Dugouts on Facebook. You know, reach out to me on Messenger. My number's on there. Instagram, TikTok, Coach Rusty, 42, I believe is what it is. And then RYBA, I'm always at the fields.
That is true.
I live at the fields pretty much. It's home away from home.
Yeah. Rusty, thank you so much for connecting with us today, man. You do incredible stuff in the community, and I am thankful that you're one of the people that is leading this baseball revolution in the city and for the city of Russellville.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me.